6. Smart nigga though. Wow. I got money that I saved and I'm back on road. Get my jewelry out the safe cause I'm back on road. Yeah. I still do these hoes the same when I'm back on road. If you wasn't there for me when I was all alone, then bitch don't expect no love. I'm just
Oh, okay, all right, bet.
Wow.
Okay. I thought you were gonna let the bass drop for a second. I was just like, all right, let him cook. Said, hold on. What? Okay, all right, wait.
Nigga with a body on his field.
All right, let's get it.
No.
That was a wild way to go back into
really
that.
was.
But okay, all right, okay.
What?
And what is happening, y'all? Welcome back to the forecast in the year 2020. Man, it's good to be here. It's good to be here with y'all.
We back.
I'm Chijoke and I'm ready to pod. Let's get it.
I'm ready to pod too. My name is Joseph. If you ain't know so, we about to go so hard up in this dojo.
Oh, hey.
You gotta add. I gotta
Whoa.
I'm gonna add a little bit every single time.
Whoa.
All right, that's what's up.
Be a rapper.
Yo, it's Cool Gray, a.k.a. John Gray Payne, a.k.a. what's cooler than being cool.
Ice cold.
Ice cold.
Yes, that's
Ice
correct.
cold.
And that has been the right answer ever since Stankonia. So,
Wow. I'm amazed.
oh,
Well,
so you're lost in the
trapped in a maze.
because you're so
Trapped.
Therefore, I'm amazing. But starting off 2020 right
Yes, sir.
with my boys, my guys, the homies.
You ain't introduced yourself, man. Why you beating around the bush, man?
We are back on road,
Yep.
back on the pod,
Yep.
back for the cast, and this is Forecast. And as you ever so know, this is Joshy F. The F is for phenomenal. The F is for F all the haters.
Okay.
Hey.
All right, bet.
And the F is for 2020 because we finna bring it.
Let's
Hey.
go.
Pod all
dog.
year long.
Yeah.
And that is facts. We are going to be potting all year long. It'd be best for you to come with us because you don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
It's like you just watched the season finale of your show and everybody's talking about it and you pissed because they didn't say spoilers. So you don't want to be that person, so don't be that person.
Also, another thing you'll probably also notice is that clearly new surroundings.
Yes, sir.
It's a new spot, new digs.
Upgrade. You did.
Yep. New year, new
Things-
spot.
Good,
Same old guys though, pretty much. I'll say that.
Right.
It's just us, pretty much.
Still
here.
in the D,
Yep.
coming to you live.
and we are still sponsorless.
Pause.
I can't stand you.
I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna do it.
So I need you.
Yeah.
So I need someone to fix that. Someone get on that right now. Hit us up.
He said we're still sponsored.
Because that's getting on my nerves, man. Come on,
Okay.
come on. We spit fire. Super hot fire. Go ahead, hit us up. We're about doing business.
Well,
That part.
I want to address something that I was told last time we met.
Okay.
Somebody mentioned that we didn't really have a. It wasn't organized. Our
Yes.
podcast wasn't organized.
That is the most common thing that we hear back from you all.
Yeah.
And,
my response
and Joe
to
wants
that,
to address
my
that.
response to that would be, don't listen. The end.
I mean, that is actually a great response because feedback is a gift. However, Christmas is over.
Okay.
Therefore, don't listen.
I was just gonna say just listen to us in segments. Like you could cut it up into like 20, 30 minutes per. Like still enjoy it. This is a good combo we're having.
It
so
really is.
if you're in, you're in. If you're out,
You out.
I don't know what else to say to you, dog.
It's not your season. It's not your season.
Correct.
Come back, next time, a few months, check it out again. Whatever you like. If not, I'm speaking for myself, not the forecast. I don't really care.
No, okay.
But if we're just being honest, look, we come to do this for us, not for anybody else. So whatever we do is what we do. It is what it is.
Yeah,
That's right.
So
So-
we're making it ours. But still, like, watch, listen, subscribe, comment, all that. Do all that. That's great. Like, we'll still take it though. But
That's right.
yeah, I echo that.
Put your money where your mouth is. Give us topics. We ask for it. We solicit feedback. It's a gift. But until you come on here, try again.
Yeah, and I'll also say, whoever said that, thank you. I was like, I appreciate the feedback. Like, thanks. I'll say it. I'll say it.
We're thankful that y'all care enough to say something.
Yeah, I was like,
So keep saying things. Probably not that one. But keep giving us your input because we do listen. That literally just proves that we do listen. May not care a whole lot sometimes, but we do listen.
Chidge, what you got for us?
Yeah, because we probably need to get into that.
So, came in here with a bunch of topics because a lot has happened since the last time that we've met up.
Like a month.
Yep.
Sheesh.
First thing I want to start off with is Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year. And,
Yeah.
honestly,
2020.
Before we jump into the topics, I just want to say this is going to be our year, our decade, 2020. And before we end the show, I really just want to know from even our crowd, but from us too, you know, not resolutions, but just obstacles that you're going to jump over. Anything you're going to knock down, barriers that are going to break. Like, I would really like to know. And if you're watching, comment too. I would love to know from you too.
That part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the next, like in the next decade.
Yeah. Next decade, next year,
Okay.
next month.
Oh, you're going. Okay. All right, bet. Go
I
get
mean,
it.
hey.
Yeah, might as well.
I don't-
So, yeah.
I guess within the next, I'll say a decade. Like by 2030, I'd like to have some generational wealth established, passive income. I'd love to have a few forms of passive income. I got some stuff planned with some family. I got some stuff planned with my immediate family. So yeah, I plan to be pretty rich by 2030.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm with it.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'd like to have my family more established. You know, kids down the road. By that time, I will be nearly 40. Wow.
He said,
It's kind
wow.
of funny. Yeah,
Sheesh.
something like that.
Hopefully, the United States is still here by that point.
Oh, right.
That's real. That's real.
But no, seriously, man, I really just want to be more established. I want to, of course, want to build a podcast, build my business, not work for anyone else. And those are some goals I have for sure.
Sure. Bet. I hear that.
What you got, Chidge?
Like it.
And I just want to be out here balling, man.
All right.
That's it. Hey, I echo that in a lot of different ways. Where definitely building on making sure that all the people that are around me and all the people that I love and care about are good.
Yeah.
Making sure that as I'm hoping at least in the next decade to be starting a family, be settled down in that way. Pretty much that everything gets going in that direction.
Yeah.
That I'm able to get stuff set up pretty much in that way. Make it as best as possible for my wife and kids. Those are really the big things that I kind of look for pretty much from that. And just honestly, like something that I've been focusing on even this past decade and now kind of going is just like continual progress. Like whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, fiscally. There's so many different ways where I can still look at it and just like continuously pressing forward. Setting a hard goal for me, I think right now, like would be like, okay, cool, great. But then when I attain the goal, it's like, all right, where do we go from here? So I want it to be continuous growth, and something that I've really started taking way more seriously towards the end of this past decade, and something that I want to basically make integral in my life as I keep going is balance. Balance in everything. Balance in so many different ways, and not being able to look at it from a very rigid standpoint and kind of getting away from that structure as much, and being able to see really the beauty in everything.
Yeah.
And so that's one big thing for me.
That's awesome. Bro, and like, just talking about that gradual like growth, like never being like stagnant. That's something that I know me and Joe kind of had some information on that we were going back and forth about, because time does not stop
At all.
and if you do not use that time, you lose it,
Yep.
and it is not able to get it back.
Yep.
For me personally, at least by the end of the year, I'm not gonna have a 9 to 5. I can't. I've been over that, but I already got stuff in the works. Hopefully, ideally, hoping to scale a couple of the business that I have in the pipeline to the point where I won't have to depend on other people. And that's something I really don't want to do. But then with that, I want to be able to bless other people, like in a substantial way.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to literally just be able to help people. Like, the current job that I have, the best part of it is literally not that I get paid. It's not what I get paid because they don't pay me what I'm worth anyway. But the fact that I get to help people. I work for a hospital. And I've realized this week that the best part of my job really has been being able to help people. Stuff outside of my job. Stuff that, I'm gonna be honest, nurses should be responsible for. But still stuff that just a nice person off the side of the street could do for someone else. That stuff is the best part of my job.
That's real.
So, but anyway, I will quickly move from that once things come through pretty soon. So, yeah, that see some millions. Get a couple more. Good stuff.
I'm with it. Well, of course, I want to pave the way from my future generation, not just present, but future. I want to carry my name on, of course.
Yeah, I need some kids too.
Yeah, definitely. Be just more. Definitely remain firm in like my decision making. Finishing school because I want to start my own like IT consulting firm because the way the world's going, we're gonna need technology.
Straight up.
I might as well just utilize all that money I'm paying for this degree. I might as well just find something to do with it. This being in sales has helped me because it's gonna be a way for me to just, pitch my ideas, pitch myself, and just, kind of just go for it, really. But, get settled, just stay strong and, getting even stronger, my relationship, my family, my God, friends, and just really, all of us holding each other accountable, to be honest. If we know, like you said, time is relevant. At the end of the day, it doesn't stop. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, I want people to hold me accountable. I want my boys to hold me accountable. I'm gonna hold y'all accountable. Like 2030, when we have this conversation in 10 more years,
it better not be in the same place, man.
It will definitely not be in the same place. It will be in a house.
Unless we own it.
Exactly. Everybody say it will be in a house.
Unless we
I
own
have
it.
no issues with that. Let's own it.
I will be living in this house in Plano/McKinney because I will be here for another. Hold on, how old is McConkey? I'll be here for another 10 years, but in 15 years, it's gonna be in a house in like New York somewhere, California. You heard me? So, but yeah, I see it, I feel it. We gonna do it.
You gotta see it, man.
Yeah, man. Like we gonna do it, but I just wanted to hear that because at the end of the day, it is 2020. Like think about in 2010 what we were doing.
I was making videos about how Gucci Man was the best. I was like, I distinctly remember what I was doing in 2010.
Graduate high school.
Exactly.
Working at Hawaiian Falls.
Yep. And like, bro, 2020, just a matter 10 years. So it's like 2030, it's gonna shoot by. Like,
bro, and that's why it is so important to be aware of like, hey, time is not stopping
at all.
Yeah.
It's not like there's no getting it back. So if you don't use it, you really are gonna lose it. You get 10 years down the road, and you're just like,
what happened?
Yeah.
What have I done? What have I truly accomplished?
Yeah. And if you've accomplished nothing, that's 10 years you lost.
Yeah.
Yep. Can't get them back either.
You can't. And then what you gonna do at 40?
I mean, I'll say this. At 40, you can still make stuff
Yeah,
happen.
straight up.
It's not from the same degree, for sure,
Uh-huh.
but you can still make stuff happen at 40. Like, there's a lot that you can still do at 40, at 50, at 60, even at 70, you can still make stuff happen. It just may not be to the same degree that you wish you'd been able to do at 30.
I think my main thing is I want the end of my life to be less stressful than the beginning of my life.
Feel that?
So if I do wait to the point where I'm 40, I'm gonna have at least between 40 and 50. That's gonna be real stressful. If I'm trying to catch up for 10 years,
Yeah, I get it.
That's what you get what I'm saying?
I think the whole point is just to not look back and say, I wish I would have.
Correct.
I wish I
Hindsight,
would've said, right?
Yeah.
Hindsight is
hindsight
2020.
is 2020, and we are currently in 2020.
See, I'm on a trip.
You got me right there.
Yeah.
Hindsight is 2020.
That was very
Shout
fun.
out
I'm telling y'all now, get ready for a whole bunch of rap puds about us being in the year 2020.
I know.
That's it. Just be ready.
Hopefully they come from Absol. If that is the
We're going to get hit with 5 on this album this year. That's what's going to
probably,
happen.
and I'll be okay with that if it's from him. Otherwise, I don't want it.
Send it back.
Shout out to Herbert Anthony Stevens the fourth, aka
The fourth.
favorite rapper, Absol. Please,
So-
please please release some music this year.
I think he's putting out an album.
He's has to.
I
Schoolboy
think he's putting out
second.
an album.
Schoolboy's probably not gonna drop this year.
Yeah, he dropped last year.
He said he was. When we went to the concert, he was like, "Yeah, I'm coming back 2020."
He
But
said
he's
that.
not.
He said that after Blakeface,
Probably.
and we didn't get an album until this year.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like we're not getting an album from Q until at least 2021. But I'd say probably the end of 2022.
I'll say this: this year. I am the TDE consultant of the pod. We'll get Absol. We'll get Isaiah Rashad. We'll probably get some SZA.
Maybe.
I don't know
maybe.
about that
Maybe.
one.
Maybe.
I mean, you're the plug, so I'll let you tell me that. But
Kendrick
is happening.
Do you think it is?
He
Kendrick's
better.
happening.
I feel like
I don't know,
think Kendrick's
man.
happening in the
Bro,
spring to summer.
I feel like
Bro, he better.
all the big names are gonna drop this year. One, because it's 2020 for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah.
But two, because no one dropped last year.
Yep.
That's true. No one
Yep.
did drop last.
Bro,
Kendrick will be in the
Kendrick
fall
better
though.
drop.
If he drops, he'll be in the fall.
Kendrick better drop.
I'm going spring to summer.
He's not gonna drop that early.
Okay,
He's not
so
gonna drop that early.
it's been what, near 3 years since he last put out a proper album,
April
right?
of what, 2017?
Yeah. And so like,
Oh, wow, yeah.
I just think that would
better.
this. I guess right now, technically speaking, we're at the longest wait we've been at for a solo Kendrick album, which is weird to say because the one between Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly seems so much longer. Oh my gosh! But we're technically there. I think we're getting a Kendrick album. I'd say within the next 6 months.
I mean, I'm not gonna be mad at Kendrick. I'm not saying that. If Kendrick came out with an album, I'd be cool with that. But I want Soul more. Isaiah Rashad hasn't released in God knows how long.
Yeah. As long as Kendrick.
I think we'll get SZA. I think we'll get some SZA.
Okay.
We'll get some SZA.
Only reason why I can see SZA going into next year is because they know how big of a play SZA is now, and like she's built that up pretty much, and they might just
Kind of
want
got
to
to keep rolling.
Yeah, they might just want to
Yeah.
give her own year instead of it being like, oh, we're dropping Kendrick and Isaiah Rashad and Baby Keem,
My
and
thing,
like it's like
my
so.
thing is, I wish they would just release the music. Just put it out. I understand there's a process.
They have
I
to do a
get
proper
it,
rollout.
but their process kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like they wait so long to release music. I understand they need to get it perfect and whatnot. But
Just patient.
dude, like,
But that's the situation with a lot of rap labels.
but
So that's why a lot of people would want to do it independent so they can release it when they want to release it. You get on a label that has 20 other rap artists. They have to pick who's going to put out. They can't put you out in the same month because that's going to mess up their sales. At the end of the day, they just want their money. So it's a lot that goes into that, but that's why independent is it's a way to go for a lot of people.
It is, but it also can be the blessing and the curse of that, because I wouldn't be surprised if, like, for TDE, a lot of these people are wanting to drop, like, oh, I want to drop in a year or whatever, but then you end up getting some music after a year and it's trash. And, like, Top or Punch has to be the one of the people that's like, nah, that ain't it.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go back in, culture up something else, figure out something else pretty much. If we have to wait, we'll wait, but we're not putting out this.
Well,
So-
that makes sense for people who aren't already established. You're right. I get that. Someone like that's why I think Kanye does a good like sifting process with his people.
Okay.
Because like just like we've already had the conversation about how he pretty much had Big Sean write an album for him. He had Travis write an album for him. He had Chance pretty much write an album for him. He makes them figure out who they are, what their sound is before they go do their thing. And that first album you see from all those guys that I just named were slapped. Like we're just fire, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean
that's true.
they need that guidance.
I don't think that's why Kanye's doing it, though.
Look,
That's the only thing.
look, I don't think that is why Kanye's
Love
doing it.
Ye, but I don't think that's why he's doing
but
it.
there is obviously a lining of he helped them in this way.
Yeah.
Have I heard Jesus is Lord?
Have y'all heard Jesus is Born?
Jesus is born.
Jesus
That's
is
what
Born.
I meant.
That's
So I was
what I
like,
meant.
oh yeah,
Jesus is born. Have you
Jesus
heard-
is born.
Yes,
yeah.
I listened to it this
Yeah,
past
yeah.
weekend
They went
on
in.
Sunday.
They
did.
They
It
went
was
in.
the Sunday Service Choir did their thing.
They're nice.
Yeah.
What I decided to do is I was like, you know what? It's a Sunday. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to this. I'm just gonna take my time with this stuff. So I hit the gym, did it there.
Yeah.
Took a walk, listened to it there. Took a little bit of a drive, listened to it there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the whole thing.
They're nice.
Bro,
It was great.
Yeah, they did.
But
Yeah.
I had no idea they were dropping that. Obviously, I don't think anybody did. But
No,
I
no.
had been listening to Soul.
They said
He put that out. I just didn't think he would do it.
when Jesus King came out,
Uh-huh.
he said we're gonna release the
Sunday Service
Sunday
Choir.
service on
And
Christmas.
it's called Jesus is Born. I
On
just didn't think he
Christmas.
would do
I was
it.
like, all right,
When
man.
it was on Christmas too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Before that, I had already been listening to Soul Anchored, which is their version of So Anxious by Genuine.
I had no
That's
idea about
what
that.
it is.
I had
That's what that sample was.
I had no idea that song existed until I started listening to this album. I was like, these dudes really made their own interpolation of So Anxious. I was like, are they serious? And they did Back to Life.
They did do Back to Life.
I was like, that's crazy.
Prior to it coming out, I had been listening to that like nonstop because I was just like, this just slaps so hard. It was that one, and then they did a Destiny's Child.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one it was for Destiny's
Say My Name. And they did, instead of Say My Name, they said Call His Name.
Yeah, that's right.
Both of those songs, I was been listening to those like nonstop because I was like, man, this is just like a different level of fire. It is. It really was for me.
That's how I felt about Follow God. That song was on repeat.
Life, like, this is what your life like. Tell me what you
It's almost like they're bringing the choir. It's almost like they're bringing choir back. You know what I'm saying? Like, people. Honestly, whenever I hear a choir in a song, I love it. Like whether Rick Ross uses it or Drake uses it or something, I love the choir.
That's so true.
But it just reminds me of like, of course, like I grew up in choir, so it always makes me feel good, especially when the choir is good.
Yeah,
it makes me think of like, I don't know, like Joyful from Sister Act 2. You know what I'm saying? Like just dope stuff like that. But the way the Sunday service is doing it now, it's almost like they revised the choir, they brought it back. Making it cool again to sing, and they're good.
Yeah,
like, it's almost like a.
That's the thing, they're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you had some just black folk off the street, because they are all black, so let's not act like that's not a thing.
I was like, I don't know what else to say. I was like, you're right.
Everyone in the choir is black.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think outside of like maybe one or two people, like judging from the film,
It's like 2 Chainz trap choir.
He did have trap choir.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if it wasn't for the fact that they were good, like this wouldn't work.
Yeah.
If they didn't get people who could actually sing, who probably sang in a choir at some point in their lives, whether it was like a kids choir or whatever. Because I've been there.
Yes.
We grew up in black church.
Yep.
We know what that's about.
We know what it's about.
But so I mean, they're good, man. If they weren't as good as they were, this would not work.
Yeah, I feel that. I'd say I came away like really. I liked it. I'll say this. I ended up hearing, like when I told y'all that I went to go see the Jesus is King film and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up hearing most of the songs just clearly in shorter refrains in that movie. And so I was like, okay, bet I remember this. But clearly, whenever I got to Souls Anchored, I was just like, huh? Like, where did this come from? Pretty much, but it was still.
It's fire though, right? Yeah.
It was still a pleasant surprise. I'll say that though. It's good to see what Kanye's doing with this. I'm hoping it is from a fully genuine place and just basically trying to just, like, in a sense, he is baptized in the Spirit and he's just wanting to basically also put that effect on the world in his own way. So it's good to see that. And then I'm also glad that the choir, the Sunday service choir, is getting their recognition.
They are getting their recognition as its own entity.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And you know what? I hate to say it, but what did I just say Kanye does?
Wow.
It's the exact same thing. He's like, okay, y'all did what we got.
You're right. Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. He's like, hey, I'm gonna put y'all together. Y'all gonna come together and do my whole album. Then I'll give you your album.
Yep.
Because I'm Kanye.
I had to think about it for a second.
Bro, I
was
swear,
like, what do you
Kanye
mean?
is so creative. Like,
He is. He is smart.
Crazy.
He is very, very smart.
Like, that man is literally like, bro, top 5.
Top five.
Top 5. Like, creative
Well,
genius.
speaking of Kanye using people for hooks and stuff, and top five. Drake did an interview with Rap Radar with Elliot Wilson and B. Dot.
He did.
Were you guys able to check out that? I know you said you were able
Watched
to check out
the
half
whole
of that.
thing.
Yeah,
I watched like half of that.
yeah,
I was falling asleep.
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised by this interview. I did not know. I heard about the war track that he had dropped, where he was just talking about minds and tings and everything. Pretty much.
I honestly heard a clip of that, of the tings and the minds.
Yeah, he turned
And I
out.
decided I was like, I'm not gonna listen to the song. I didn't listen to the song.
I get it. I heard the song. It's actually not bad. I'll say that.
I can't.
But I also immediately, he comes on, like, you know how Drake clearly always comes on and he'll hit you with, like, some kind of ad lib, like, yeah, like those kind of things that then go to his verse.
Yeah.
So as soon as he came, I forgot which ad lib he used, but it was, and I was like, oh, we're getting Miles Drake. I was like, let me just
We're
go.
getting British Drizzy.
Yep. I was like, okay, all right.
That behind
fine.
bars thing is what started it when he did that tic tac
Yeah.
toe,
He
tic
gotta
tac
stop.
toe. I was like, stop, Drake.
You know how this thing goes.
I was like, boy, go back to nonstop because you
No
need to
extra
stop.
us.
Getting this.
It actually wasn't bad. The bar, I will say this, he was talking cash on that whole track though. He talked about like Chubbs beating up Detail. He was putting it out there. There were little centers. Like I was like, oh, he's taking advantage of the fact that like a certain amount of people will only understand this track. Like I'll say that though. There was certain language I was being used. I was like,
Wait,
oh,
hold on.
okay.
You said Chubbs being like Detail, the one in No Worries, Lil Wayne.
yes, that producer. There was
gotta worry.
oh okay. That aside, what did you guys think of the interview?
I think he's trying to cover his butt, man. Like,
Okay.
the biggest thing really for me was him ranting about, all my biggest hits, I wrote those. It's like, you still don't believe you for some reason. I don't know if you don't like you had like I understand he is talented. If he wasn't talented, he couldn't do those other fake genres of music. He couldn't do that if he didn't have talent. But I can't give him all the credit he probably wants.
I think it was genuine. I think he does write his music. I think that I think what he said, like as far as people help each other on songs, I think that's true. I think that probably happens more than we think.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
And
because you can't tell me 2 Chainz didn't write that song for Ariana Grande.
Oh, yeah. Severance?
You can't tell me he didn't write that.
I can see that. Yeah.
But anyway,
I think I think it was a good interview. Like I think that he finally just got it all out in one segment. Just let me explain whatever it is that you all want to know, and that's that. I don't think he's going to talk about any of that stuff ever again.
I think he will.
For real?
I don't think he will.
I think this is kind of like I won't say like a new wave of Drake because Drake kind of tried doing this when Scorpion dropped. He just didn't do it in interview format. He was trying to do it through the music.
Yeah.
And like, okay, God's plan. I'm gonna go down to Miami and give a whole bunch of money to people. I'm upset. I'm gonna link up with my old cast of Degrassi and for an entire music video and do like a whole like high school reunion thing. You know what I'm saying? Nice for what? Celebrating women, especially like black women. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it was kind of a thing where he's kind of been down that, and then it got derailed by everything that happened after Adidon and kind of that whole thing and him having to do cleanup. And that's, I agree with both of y'all. So I do think this is cleanup. I'll say that. I think this is cleanup about all of that stuff pretty much that's happened over the last, like, year and a half pretty much on stuff, though. Yeah. But I do think he was coming from a very genuine place of just being in a much happier place. I thought this interview was the most candid we've heard Drake in almost a decade. And I'm not saying there weren't like answers in there where I was like, I'm not buying that. Like there were a few of them in there that I was just like, I'm not going for that. But I will say it was more so Drake letting his guard down as much as possible, as much as he felt possible, with the spotlight being on him in that kind of way, and like talking about it in certain things like him talking about how like he deaded his beefs with Meek and Chris Brown were like really kind of like to him like hearing him talk about that, or even just like the issue that he has with Kanye and Push, and like why he kind of said, and like even it seemed like a person who either has been very self-reflective over a little bit of time, and he's always known himself in so many different ways, in a lot of ways, right? But he still was kind of looking at it from a standpoint of like it seemed very therapeutic. I'll say that. And
that's another thing. Like he has no choice but to self-reflect. I mean, he's what, 33?
Yeah.
Grown man, you know what I'm saying, with a kid, with a career, living life, you know what I'm saying. Like he's gone through enough to where he can actually take a step back and look and say, you know what, I did this stuff when I was a kid or younger, like not a kid, but I did this stuff when I was younger. Here's how I've learned from it. Here's how I've grown. I don't necessarily want to talk to these people again, but you know, I'm over it. I think it was cool, man. Like I think that Drake. I think we actually kind of saw, like you said, like the real Drake, like glimpse of Drake, how he actually feels. And again, like Drake doesn't do interviews, so I really don't remember the last time I actually saw something like this. I mean, was he on the shop?
He was, but that was super
like,
done up. Like that was like from a standpoint that was super damage control. Yeah, because of how the whole Push thing ended, all that kind of stuff. And he was doing it in this interview too, where he was like, "Oh, I ended it by choice." It was like, yeah, sure, like from a technicality standpoint, it was by choice, but we knew where this was going.
Yeah, well, when you get beat,
not even just where it gets beat. This is one of those beefs that should have gotten like really violent. I think it was like one of those things.
Yeah,
where
when
he
you have
realized
children
that ahead of
involved.
time. Yeah, he was just like, you know what, this isn't even worth it.
right?
Like, because he said as much in so many different words in this interview, where he was like, I just knew it was going in a direction where I didn't want it to go,
Yeah.
and so I just decided to go ahead and bow out gracefully. Which I agree with.
I think Drake did have low key. I think Drake had some heat. I think he had a track that he was gonna put out, and I think it was gonna get ugly.
But what this is my only thing.
So too.
I agree with that, but it wasn't going to be aimed at Push.
Oh no,
Oh, no,
I didn't say that.
It was.
No,
That's
that's
why he couldn't do it.
Exactly.
And that's why he couldn't do it.
He already knew.
He knew it was at the top, and that's where he was about to go.
The whole
gotta
thing,
say
though,
you
this
older
whole
than
thing
me,
is not
right.
about Pusha T. Like, I mean,
No.
we know this, but this whole thing was never about Pusha T to begin with. It was always about Kanye.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's why you
Always.
get like. But that's to push his point on this. That's why you take the loss.
Yeah.
Is because my beat, like, Push is talking about, like, bro, this is between us right now. Like, it's between us right now. I
Yeah.
get that, is your reasoning for
Yeah.
being as upset as you are, but this is between us right now.
Yeah.
And you're taking strays pretty much at me. All you've basically said is I'm not a real drug dealer.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like,
Because Drake came out, like, that
I feel
song
like he
came
knew.
out, immediately started talking about Kanye. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
what do you think of the dude that's making your beats? Like,
Yeah.
immediately came for Kanye. I was like,
You
Which I
older than
get.
the nigga
Okay.
you running behind.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
that was a good song, bro. That
bro,
was a
it
good song.
Bro, I'm
Duppy's
telling
a
you,
good
like,
song. Duppy's a
Duppy
good
was
song.
a well put together song.
It is.
Push came more with the
Adidon
insults.
was,
and, like,
Adidon was the full on brat.
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Like,
it's like-
Duppy was a put together song, but I'm
It
telling you,
was.
like, he came with more fire with the insults, of course. I mean, but it's kind of like back to back, and like when everyone's like, "Oh, Wanna Know" came out, like Drake he put a song they was legit playing in the club. Like,
That's the
that-
thing about
True.
Drake. His diss tracks
True.
you can play.
Like, that's
All
what I'm
of
saying.
them.
He
In the
actually
club.
put them
All
in
of
the
them.
club.
That's why
Like,
they're so popular. You
Yeah.
can play them
like back to back was legitimately played in the club, so it's just like I don't know, like Push did go well below he went to the feet, goddamn, like he went well below the belt because like that. I mean, when he started talking about 40 and all that stuff, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
That
which
was really, to me, that was the worst part of the whole thing. Like,
Yeah, I was,
It wasn't even good bars when he brought that up. Like you couldn't like made a more creative way of saying what you said.
You could, but he knew what it was going to do. And here's the only thing is that, like, I think this part gets misconstrued about this stuff is that, like, and I agreed with Push when he said this on Button's podcast, where it was like he wasn't wishing death on 40, but he did not care.
no.
Like, he really did not.
You couldn't care to say something like that.
He
No.
could, yeah, exactly. It was just more of those things. Like, it was one of those things. Like, it was Ivan Drago status. Like, if he dies, he dies. Like, that's basically how he. Which is still like low key worse
Yeah.
That is.
in a lot of ways, though.
It
is. Yeah.
But it's like also a thing where it was like I keep hearing Drake say that, oh, he was what it was. I don't think he was. I think what he was saying was that you have 40 in the studio working all the time, tirelessly mastering, mixing all of your stuff, producing and everything, and this man's not feeling well. Like, that's why I think that whole song was a barrage of the mother thing, dad thing, all that stuff was like, yo, cherish your family a little bit more. Like, that's what I think.
No, she said
Which is,
chill.
no, but like that's why I think we talked about this. Why I feel like Adidon hit so much harder was because it was more so from a standpoint of not like, oh, I'm wishing anything of this on your family. It's more so I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
You're talking about you're disappointed in me and the guy I run with. I'm disappointed in you. That's it. So it's like it's yeah.
I think if that track, I think if he had not talked about the kid, that track would have amounted to nothing.
Bro, I'm telling you, he needed album sales.
Yeah.
And clearly he got some because everyone's like, oh my gosh, push one. Like he Thanos to him, the whole shebang.
To be fair, I thought up to that point that Daytona was album of the year before all that whole thing, because it was just a well put together album for 7 tracks. Still, it's
Duppy was
all
better.
right.
Duppy was better. Duppy was fire.
no, Duppy's great. That's what I'm
Duppy's
saying.
fucking crazy.
It's
That
just
song's
if you're
crazy.
going for the
Yeah.
whole diss thing, pretty much, and this is me coming from the standpoint of like I fully understand where Drake's coming from on like how he's handled this whole thing and how he's gone about it, but it was like Push also understood the moment and went for it. And he kind of knew where it was one of those things where it was like, all right, cool, I know exactly where this can go. Bet.
Let's just chill.
Yeah.
I mean, which is a part of being a mature adult.
Yeah. That's why I said
Because he
I
has to
will-
understand this isn't just music no more. This is
Yep.
this is real. This is like bleeding into real life.
Thank
this
you.
is
Thank you.
Yeah,
Correct.
there's
Let's
certain
just-
things.
And someone could have gotten hurt.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. There's certain
that's-
things you don't talk about. You bring up certain things, it's just like, okay, well, we're not rapping no more.
We're not rapping anymore.
There's certain things just like at a certain point, it's just like,
no more music.
nah, there's no more
Right.
music. Where you at?
No, for sure. That's why I said I respect Drake for doing it, but I wish he would still go about it from the standpoint of like, cool, I lost the battle, but I ended up winning the war.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I wish he would go about it more so from, because, like, you can still tell from that interview that he did with Rap Radar, like, this is still something that deeply irks him.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
it's still, which I get.
Because he had a whole Adidas line and everything.
I think even beyond that, like, even beyond the
yeah.
business part of it, I think it's just more so from a standpoint of, like,
but I'm saying, I think that's how Drake formally wanted to introduce his kid to the world, as opposed to
And he
it being
kinda beat him to it,
put on a stage of, insult and
as
injury.
opposed to saying, "Oh, what about your secret son?"
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
over
like,
the fact,
bro, it's like when we
and
talk.
I'm disappointed in you too.
Yeah,
like,
like,
that's what,
bro,
that whole track was disappointment.
When we talked on
Telling
the
y'all.
podcast last time, when I even told you, remember when I told y'all like about me having a kid? Just imagine y'all hearing that on like some Facebook post or something like that. Like me not even telling y'all. Like
I would just be like, "Hey, word, what's happening here? Like, what's happening?" Like, we just have a one-on-one
No,
conversation.
I had to be like, "Hey,
Something
is
me.
this true?"
that's what
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
saying. Like,
that's
that sounds like
one
someone
combo.
instead of
But-
me coming on like someone airing it out. So it's like I get it. At the end of the day, like how it would still be something that irks him, but at the same time, I didn't watch the whole interview. I only watched part of it, but I mean, Drake's my boy, so I've always, the place that he's come from. I mean, I'm always taking for face value. At the end of the day, like, I mean, what he talks about, like how he was saying, like how he moved in the house and he would just kind of go through the neighborhood and things like that. Like, I mean, that's just Drake's. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's Drake, like legitimately
Speaking
just
words,
trying to live his best life right now. Like, I mean, I know he's not worried about it. It may come up in conversation, but I think him reflecting back and looking back, like when they asked him about So Far Gone and when they asked him about Thank Me Later and all that stuff, it's just like, think about Drake back then and think about him now. Just how we think about ourselves back then and think about ourselves now.
For sure.
I mean, literally, it's a 180. Like, that's all. Even earlier when me and Chidra were upstairs and I played Trust Issues, I was like, man, if this Drake come back,
You telling me,
bro, done deal.
Boy, you telling me,
done deal. Like,
Hey, nothing was the same though. Best album.
after Take Care.
I've been telling y'all.
I'm just saying.
I've been telling y'all.
After
Listen,
Take
He said
Care.
it himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was also one of the things that really pointed out. There were 3 things that pointed out to me in this interview, like immensely. One was that he considers Nothing Was the Same to be his best album, which I would expect personally, because I think he really did put him. I feel like that was the perfect meeting point of peak Drake at that point.
Yeah.
Like, he just dropped 5 a.m. in Toronto, which I think is his
Dang,
best
man.
rapping performance on a track ever.
That dude.
Like, it's like so
Bar
I think
for
he was,
bar.
from a peak standpoint, and then he was also starting to get down to singing a lot more. Wu-Tang Forever is one of his best composed tracks ever. Like, that is the quintessential Drake featuring Drake track.
That song, bro.
It's
That song.
issues.
That song plays, and I can envision myself being where I was
In
when I heard it.
2013?
Back, yeah,
Bro.
when I was in college.
Yep.
Sheesh. Like, bro, that's crazy. Like, you said 5 a.m. in Toronto. You
Dog,
said
wow,
Sinatra lifestyle. I'm just being frank with you.
That's it.
Stop.
And that wasn't a corny line. Like, Drake
I
is good.
know,
Drake
like,
is good for like a good little corny
that-
line here and there. There was no wasted bar on that song.
Bro, he said I could load a gun with bullets to fire backwards and still wouldn't probably lose a rapper. Like, what?
He was talking that talk, bro.
Yeah, he
Like,
really
was
was.
like,
Yeah, he was talking that
yeah,
cat.
man. Like, so from Drake's standpoint of meeting it, like starting with Tuscan Leather on that album,
Boy.
like it's, like there are different. There are a lot of albums, like a lot of songs I can bring up off of that album, and like,
Bro, that's 3
so,
songs in
Furthest
Better
thing,
listen to that.
like it's that's what I'm saying.
Bro,
Listen,
Tuscan Leather is 3 songs
Even
in
Worst
one.
Behavior
He
still holds up really
sampled
well.
Whitney
Worst
on that,
Behavior
bro.
does hold up very
Yeah,
well.
like it still holds up really well, especially the rap verse. Who's hot? Who's not? Tell me who rock? Who sell on? Like, like just going like.
And he does
like,
the classic Drake thing,
Yep.
where he steals some old verse and redoes it.
Yep.
And it's still okay.
Yep.
Bro, he did,
He
bro.
constantly does that.
I watched this thing about how Drake samples, and his verse on "Who Do You Love." He literally took that whole verse from some.
Yeah,
I
that's
had
why he got
no
sued.
idea.
He got sued. He got sued by Rapping Forte for that. Yeah.
I was like, what?
He was just like, dang, you took that whole 4 bars from my
Literally
song.
that whole bar. I was like,
Okay,
what the?
I get homage, but like that's a lie.
Okay, even worse. So, you know the song I Get Lonely?
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
That is a whole TLC song.
You told me that. That's right.
Yeah, it's a
you
whole
told me that,
TLC
yeah.
song. Every word and most of the beat is a TLC song called Fan Mail.
Oh, that was the name of her album too.
Yeah. It was the main track off of that album.
Yeah.
And Drake was just like, oh.
I got it.
Euro Steph.
No worries.
So yeah. Drake's pretty bad for that one. but
Sheesh.
He gets away with it. That's the weirdest thing about it, is he always gets away with it.
That was also another thing
Who's
that they
not?
talked about in this interview
Yeah.
was how like a lot of people view the stuff like the Mons and all that stuff pretty much that he does as cultural appropriation. His defense on that was Well, I'm still celebrating them, and I put them in positions pretty much to be able to eat as well.
He does, though.
That was, yeah, but like by proxy.
That just sounds
like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what
it's not directly.
Where it was like,
It's not directly. It's like
not
I
directly
just
doing
made
it.
your music popular.
yeah, because
that's
his
literally
defense
all
was
he's
like,
saying.
yeah, like his defense
That's
was that
not
he
okay.
signed PopCon. I was like, all right, but how much have we heard from Pop in like a minute?
Exactly.
That's, like,
He signed him for 2 songs.
Yeah, that's what I'm
mine.
saying. Like that's great. Like I do think he's giving all of this stuff a much wider view for people than would normally. Like people would not be listening to grime music.
Yeah.
People maybe like as many may not be listening to Afrobeat if not for him doing like what he did with One Dance and things pretty much leading up to that point, and even the joint with WizKid, right? Like there are certain things like maybe people wouldn't be listening to Burna Boy as much as they are now, right? But I still look at it from a standpoint of like it's more so a residual effect than him actually being hands-on and being like, I want to make this pop. It's more so like I want to keep my wave going.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where he's operating from.
That's all he does.
So it's
legitimately that's the actual Drake. The actual Drake is just like, let me stay on top as long as I possibly can. Which
agree.
I mean, that specific thing is not bad. Because any artist would be like, let me do what I can to stay on top as long as I can.
He said he got more slaps than the Beatles. Kissing My Teeth was definitely
I just want a Bryson Tiller album. I don't care about a whole bunch.
I'll take that.
I just really want a
Honestly, I'll
Bryson
take
Tiller
that.
album.
Like his first one was what, Trap Soul?
Trap Soul.
Yeah.
I thought the second one was good too.
Second one is good
second
too.
one was good, but Trap Soul is.
People talk a lot of mess about it because they were like, "Oh, it just sounds like Trap Soul." I'm like,
Yeah.
it's the same person. What do you expect?
You could ride the Trap Soul like for real. Like that's
Something tells me it's still a great song. Whatchamacallit, Don't Get Too High is a great song. Like there are a few songs off there that I was like, I like quite a bit though.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna just rounding up this whole Drake thing really fast. The other really interesting thing that I took away from that interview was that apparently Serena Williams was the catalyst behind like back to back.
She was like, "Nah, you need to release this now.
Like, you need to go about it this way. You need to do it this
That's
exact way.
crazy to
If you're
me.
gonna do it, you got to go for the kill." Like I was just like, I did not know Serena was that involved with all of this. I was like, oh my gosh,
don't
that's
think
one
anyone
thing that's
did.
really slept on, like that people are not bringing up.
They were,
Bro, like I didn't. Prior to that, I didn't know how serious the whole him and Serena thing really was.
So funny story. There was, I guess, one random weekend in Austin or whatever, right? Where I remember I bumped into somebody at some point down there who said that they had just bumped into Drake at like a hotel, and apparently he had Serena with him, and like he was like super like hospitable, like, oh hey, my name's Aubrey, like how you doing, like that whole thing pretty much.
Yeah.
But like apparently like they were like booed up, like for a little bit of time. That's at least what I've heard.
Well,
That's
I
fine.
mean, all right. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because okay, females who are athletes, who are like top athletes, are going to be the most competitive people you've ever met.
Probably true. Yeah.
Like, and I know that because I know my wife.
Yeah.
Shouts to Jazz, man.
So if you have a black woman who is very athletic, successful in the sport or anything really, she's going to have a competitive streak about her.
But
And that's not surprising that she was just like, we going in, you know. That's not surprising.
Yeah, I feel y'all. All right, next topic, real quick though.
Real quick,
DaBaby got arrested.
He got arrested.
Yeah,
Got a warrant here in Dallas.
Yeah, so that's
Dallas?
yeah. So I'm gonna give like a really quick breakdown to this whole thing. So he got arrested in Miami. Apparently, he beat up a promoter because he was supposed to get paid $30,000 for a gig. Only got paid $20,000. He saw the promoter, beat his ass real quick. Like, apparently,
a fair
took like
beating.
took his phone off him, $80,
10
a
Gs?
credit card, and like some other stuff. Pretty much like there's video, like surveillance video, I guess, or somebody was recording it or something like that from like some hotel or something. And then when they arrested him, pretty much he got out off that or whatever. Like I guess on bond or whatever. Miami PD came and found him again and took him in for a warrant that apparently he had from here at the DFW International Airport, where he was at like some Einstein's Bagel and got into it with somebody who was working the register and like was beating on them too.
In the airport.
And so they had a warrant out here for his arrest for organized crime because technically, since it took place at an airport, it's a federal crime.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so they held him over the weekend, this past weekend, like without bail. He went and saw a judge. He even dropped on him like, yo, I got $250,000 in my hotel room. The bailiff who was clearly behind it was like, boy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it was like one of those things pretty much like some people theorize that apparently he was saying it more so for like, oh, you guys better not seize my property. Like, that's my money. If you go inside of there, that's my stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's might be the reason why he dropped that. But he got released on bail. What do y'all think about this whole thing?
You gotta stop beating people up.
Yeah, he
I'm
got
about to
to.
say-
Like that's literally.
just
His response to the whole thing was like, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
He pretty much just brushed it off and was like, 2 days ain't nothing.
No, they listen. Here's
But
the thing,
you
man.
gotta-
when you're that big and popular, they're gonna get you.
Every time.
They're going to get
Oh, and you black?
you. And you black.
Hey, but
You can't be careless. Like you're rich now. Like you can't be careless with that type of stuff. They will get you out of here.
But bro, that is a fair ass whooping. 10 G's?
That's what a lot of people say.
10 G's?
That's what a lot of people say too.
I thought you were about to say he gave him like 29,000 out of the 30. I'm like, okay, bro, you overreacted. 20 out of 30? Nah, that's a fair ass.
That's what a lot of people have been saying.
10 G's?
A lot of people have been saying
And
that.
it is,
bro, that's a fair
and it is,
ass
but when
whooping.
you that big, you don't do it yourself.
That's true.
Here's the thing.
You
He's on
can't-
some
you
nigga
can't-
stuff, bro. Like you can't.
That's very true. You
Like,
You
I
don't
don't-
handle that yourself.
You don't
Correct.
handle that yourself.
Like, honestly,
just-
Wayne always talked about having goons, and that's what DaBaby needs is goons. Like, Wayne always, I promise you.
Here's the thing. I think DaBaby is the goon, though. That's the thing. He doesn't really know how to like delegate that position to somebody
He
else.
said, don't worry, I got it.
bro, you're right. But here's the thing. I think he has the kind of the complex, especially since his dad died. Like, I'm the man. I got to take care of things like a man.
Yep.
So you do something to me, I
It's
got to handle my
actually
business.
kind of admirable.
Which it
Like,
is.
yeah.
It is. It's super, it's super
Like,
admirable.
bro.
And it's a lot of why people really vibe with him.
Yeah.
Because his personality is all the way out there. Like, we know who he is.
Yeah.
Bro,
But-
how you fight somebody at Einstein Bagels?
I don't even know how that went.
I know a bagel
That's so random to
at
me.
the airport.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, it could pop in the airport.
I'm about
I
to
can
say
see,
it could go
yeah,
down
it
the
could pop in the
airport.
airport. It
But I'm
shouldn't.
saying, and Einstein bagels,
but it can.
You should never do anything in an airport.
What he do,
besides
throw a
get on the
bagel
plane
at
and
you?
leave.
I agree, but I'm just
What?
saying, like, tempers run fly,
What?
people miss flights.
what?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bagel?
Like, stuff
I'm about
happens.
to say, what he do, throw a bagel at him? Like,
That's what I'm saying. I feel like there was probably something with the order. He just wasn't in the mood. He just went off.
he said, bro, we already missed
Blah,
our
blah, blah,
flight.
blah.
You got my bagel wrong.
Yeah,
Hey,
like-
but I just have to say, he on the lineup for Coachella. I hope he's still there, low key. Cause
I mean, yeah, he got out. He's
you are
good.
going to
Yeah.
Coachella.
Yes, and he's on the lineup.
You also
so,
get to see
yeah,
Frank
Don't
Ocean.
fight nobody, nigga. Please be there.
Honestly,
I'm the only one who's excited.
They're
about
only
this.
there's
Travis
certain
Travis Scott is headlining, so
of course he is
That's
because
what
white people love him and it's Coachella.
Travis Scott is
Um,
the headliner for Saturday. Frank Ocean is the headliner for Sunday. So he's the main headliner.
I won't be there
I
on
don't-
Sunday.
Okay, look.
You're not going to the Sunday show?
I'm going to Sunday.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I like some of
I was like, go see Frank.
I like a lot of Frank Ocean stuff. I'm not clamoring to go see him.
I'm just saying, when's
But
the next
there-
time you're going to see him?
probably never.
I don't care. I don't care.
No,
enough
but
to
I'm
see
saying,
him.
like, I'm saying you have an opportunity to see him.
Ah.
Oh,
I mean, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
see
it's not going to be
him, like,
priority.
yeah.
I'll pass.
If I see him, I see him.
Yeah, it's like if he's there,
not gonna be
if he's there while
priority.
I'm trying to see somebody else. Cool, you know, I might stay to see Frank, but if I miss him, I miss him.
Exactly. I'm not going to like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If he headlines on Sunday, I'm just gonna sit there because I mean, I have to literally go listen to his catalog now for me to sit there. Only thing I remember is is Channel Orange.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's
the
all
only thing
right.
I remember. Like everything new, I don't remember. But Travis Scott, I'll definitely be in there. DaBaby, City Girls, Meg Thee Stallion, like Sway Lee, everybody else. Like I'll be there.
Yeah, that sounds like fire.
Yeah.
Is it Sway Lee or is it's not both of them anymore?
No, it's just Sway.
They're just solo now or what?
No, they aren't here. But speaking of racial, this isn't even on the topic list, though. I heard about this earlier today, though. Apparently, their father was murdered.
They think it was their little brother.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and so they took him in custody pretty much earlier today. I think it was earlier today or like yesterday too, though. So yeah, nah, man. Like condolences out to them, prayers,
Sheesh.
like for sure. Yeah.
They're from here, right?
How
I
old is
think
your little
Mississippi.
Oh, they're from Mississippi. I know they're from around the South.
Yeah.
I'm just mad they turned eardrummers backwards. I hate them for that.
Okay.
That wasn't their idea. That clearly was all Mike.
That's probably
made.
Mike. Yeah, I was
That's all
gonna say,
clearly Mike
that's
will
prob-
make.
That's probably.
He's somebody who's just like he got a bunch of money at one time. And he was
I
like,
could see
all
Jimmy
the
coming up
ideas
with
I
that.
have.
Bro,
I can
they
see
couldn't
Jimmy
have
coming
just
up with
stuck
that.
with
Leave
eardrummers.
Jimmy alone. We're not
I
gonna,
love. No,
we're
I
not
love
gonna-
Jimmy.
we're
No,
not-
this ain't no. Like I
we can't
love Jimmy.
credit. We can't credit him for anything.
Who was that?
Because people always credit him with the dumb stuff.
No slander on Slim Jimmy though, because he will also make work out of you too though. Like we're talking about DaBaby. Slim Jimmy will also.
He's
not for the play.
As tiny as he is.
Pounds.
All right, man. I'm just saying, bro.
I'm just telling you, hey,
I saw him beat on a DJ. I saw him beat on a DJ something fierce. I was like, I don't know how a man so young has such old man strength. I don't get it. Like, I was just like, oh, he is going in on this DJ right now over apparently not playing one of his songs or something. I don't know what it was.
See, that's another thing about these rappers, bro.
Petty.
Like, if I'm working for you, like I've seen people like Travis, for instance, they'll tell like a photographer to get off the stage. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm working.
Yeah.
And if you come over here and try to touch me, you getting whooped in front of all your fans. I'm gonna whoop you in front of everybody here. Anyway,
He said, "I'm working." Like they just need. I think they need to pick their battles a little bit better. Like bagels,
For sure.
bro. No, I said no, the bouncer one, or the whatever, the promoter one.
10K.
I will give you that. That is well deserved. I applaud you. A bagel, my nigga, bro. Take your $3 back and go. Like, come on, come on, bro. A bagel.
I agree. I think he does have to kind of calm it down a little bit for sure. I do think he's more so on some like certify my gangster type tip pretty much right now, where it's like don't play with me. Like you have to think. The first time I ever the first time I ever heard about DaBaby, it was about him clapping somebody in Walmart.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like
Self-defense.
Sure, but it was also one of those things where it was like
It probably wasn't. It was probably a little bit more to the story.
yeah, like well, I guess I don't know if they knew each other or something like that, but even the surveillance video, if you like,
Come
I don't
on,
even think I'm correct.
Very likely.
You don't. I'm be honest. You don't shoot nobody. You don't know. For the most part, that's not how that goes.
That's why I like Lil Baby. Okay.
You don't shoot nobody you don't know.
No, be real. Either you know I'm going to shoot this person,
That is funny.
or you know I'm going to go shoot at this person. Like, come on, man. Like you don't have the mindset of I want to kill this person if you don't have an idea of who that person is. That's not how that works. Come on.
That's fair. And he ran up on him in a Walmart.
We're gonna go speed round on this stuff though. All right, y'all.
All right, so
Okay.
we go like just like this.
I'm gonna give you a one-word answer to
Speed
all
it
this
up.
stuff.
All right, bet. Okay, so Amazon and Rihanna signed a deal for a doc. It's worth $25 million. Apparently, it's supposed to be very unfiltered. It takes place from like 2015 up until like I guess last year, whatever. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
She is rich. What the $25 million to talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
she got paid.
Can I get paid for that too? Like,
Sick.
It's just documentary.
my
Yeah,
whole
it's a
life?
documentary on Amazon.
When did her and Chris Brown do the Take That Ride?
11, maybe.
That was like 09?
Okay, then I ain't gonna watch it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Okay, Jay-Z and Kanye have officially kind of squashed their beef. As you guys saw, they were both
Diddy's
at Diddy's party.
Yeah.
That was bound to
So
happen.
they took a pic, all that kind of stuff. What are y'all's thoughts?
That was bound to happen.
I was like, yeah. I was like, it's good to see that.
Jay-Z taught Kanye everything he knows.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all that.
I mean,
but
Dame. Don't forget about Dame though. Dame Dash was a very big, essential part of it. I said, yeah. Shout out to Dame, man.
I'm just saying that's big bro.
Speaking of, we brought him up earlier in the show. Frank Ocean. He signed a publishing deal with Warner Chappell, or Warner Chappell, I think is the actual publishing company, pretty much.
Yeah.
He's still an independent artist, but apparently he signed it sometime in the fall. What do you guys think of that?
don't care.
All right.
Nope.
Okay.
He'll
I'm
probably drop an album this year.
there we go. That's what I was going to say.
That's all. That's all. I
Hopefully we
don't.
get an album this year.
But I don't.
We'll
care.
see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Okay.
I didn't like this last one, whatever he put out.
Blonde.
I didn't like Blonde.
Classic.
Anyway, yeah.
Now it's gonna be brunette. Okay, let's go.
All right, Andrew Yang, my boy Joe, that's his
Yang
guy
gang,
for
baby.
sure. Donald Glover, aka
Spoil
Childish
him,
Gambino,
gang.
is apparently a creative consultant on his campaign.
Saw that.
Apparently, he's made like merchandise and stuff. Met up at one of his rallies, apparently in LA, did all this stuff. What are you guys' thoughts?
Love
Yin
it.
and yang.
I love it.
It's
I hope
pretty.
Okay.
When he becomes the president, I hope he gives wouldn't it be crazy if he gave Donald Glover like some vice president cabinet position?
I don't think that's crazy at all.
Yeah, I was
I'm going to be honest,
yeah.
because here's the thing: we gave Donald Trump a position.
Thank you. And Donald Trump also gave a lot of people with no government experience
Exactly.
government positions.
Fair.
So you know what?
I'm with Yang. Hey, Vice President Yang Glover, I'm with it.
I don't think they'll let him do that, but if he did, I'd be all on board. Like
gonna vote
he
for him.
might get my vote because I have not voted for my first black vice president yet.
Okay.
Fair.
But
I mean, I would say that's good. He couldn't pick a better creative artist because Childish is, he's doing the thing.
Yeah, he's creative,
That's
man.
my guy.
Shout out to Childish Gambino.
Atlanta, bring it back, please.
I don't think the show's ever coming back.
I hate you.
It's
All right,
not.
I'll tell you.
he just stops doing things.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
the show's not
Atlanta's
coming
ever
back.
coming back ever.
Just like he's never doing another
Atlanta
stand-up.
was so good.
I got you. I think that was his whole point.
Yeah.
Like I think he read up on purpose to just basically go and curb the whole
Tease
basically
people?
what Larry David has done with Curb Your Enthusiasm is what Donald Glover is now doing with Atlanta.
Bastard.
I'm joking by saying the show's never gonna happen again, but we're not getting that show for a while.
It's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, it's
On
gonna
the
be a
back
while.
burner?
Yeah, we're not getting that show. Like the next season probably won't come out till like 2023.
Yeah, when he feels like it.
Yeah, there we go.
I hate it.
Like Larry David with Curb. That's what I'm saying.
This is America.
Real quick, the NFL wildcard weekend this past weekend, it was kind of crazy.
Let's
The
not even
Patriots
talk
lost to
about
the Titans.
Let's not
Sorry,
even
man.
talk about it.
The Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills played probably one of the worst playoff game I've probably ever seen in my life. It was
bad.
sloppy. The
Saints lost.
the Saints lost
Saints lost.
on what was kind of the same situation from last year in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks beat the Eagles, and Carson Wentz got knocked out of the game. What do y'all think?
I do think it was interesting how something having nothing to do with the wild card kind of took over the Eagles game. At halftime, all they wanted to talk about was the Cowboys.
Yep.
And I definitely think Jerry Jones did that crap on purpose.
For sure.
Oh yeah, he's
Petty.
just like, oh,
Petty
so
king.
y'all want to go to the playoffs, huh? All right, let's make all headlines about us. So
Yep.
I think Tom's still going to be a Patriot next year.
okay.
I'm mad that they lost, but it's all good.
I think
Can't have it all.
At first, I didn't think he was going to come back. After that loss, I think he's upset. I think he feels like he needs to come back.
Yeah, he'll be playing
I can see
again. He
that.
even said it's unlikely he retires. Like, I just don't think it's going to be as a Patriot. I don't think he's coming back as a
Weird
Patriot.
to see.
Where,
So-
I don't know where Tom Brady is.
Somebody said Dolphins.
I can see the
Yeah,
Dolphins.
okay.
I can see the Chargers.
Okay.
There are a few teams that I can see. Like it's like
20
that.
years vested with this team. He's just going to, no.
That's not up to him. That's not fully up to him.
Hey,
Like,
even Jordan played for the Wizards.
I'm just saying that's not fully up to him. That's it.
I will
All
say
right.
Dirk never left Dallas. So
Correct.
That's
Dirk and Kobe are like the only ones.
Exactly.
Dirk, Kobe,
They're-
Tim Duncan.
Okay, and Tim.
Yeah,
They've
the
had
only
plenty
ones.
of
Oh, well,
disappointing seasons.
that actually kind of goes into another one thing. Vince Carter has played through 4 separate decades:
awesome.
the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s,
He put his
and now
arm
the
in a
2020s.
And he's dunked every single one. of them.
Exactly.
22
They-
seasons in the
Alonzo,
league.
he's dunked on Alonzo.
They are
Mourning
bidding.
like every 3 days.
They are currently trying to convince him to get in the dunk contest this year.
I would
next month.
love to see
How
that.
old-
If he puts his arm back in the
How,
Fun
how,
fact,
how old is
he
Vince?
won.
42?
That's insane.
I think, yeah, like 42.
Can he
yeah.
still jump that high?
He is still dunking in
He can
game.
still yam
This
if he
man
wants
jumped
to.
over a 7-foot person.
I think it was like a year and a half ago. He like did I want to say it was like a 360 dunk during warm-ups.
Yeah.
Bro, like he stuck his freaking arm in the rim, like
Yeah, man.
on earth.
Hey,
Speaking
he-
of that,
he
John
is
Morant
42.
almost jumped
Bro,
over
he-
Kevin
like-
Love.
I
while
did.
we were
I did
gone.
see that, and Kevin Love after the game was like, "I'm so glad he missed that."
Yeah.
He actually had an ice
Ice
pack
on his head. Yeah.
on his head
Wow.
That's
from his
crazy.
knee, from John Morant's knee,
Damn.
jumping him over him.
I'm saying that was
It was-
wild.
So you know what? I think John Morant has it on lock for the Rookie of the Year. Zion is. They're saying that he.
Very unfortunate situation.
Just sit out the year.
I
man.
think he should sit out.
Yeah, sit out the year.
It
but-
doesn't make any sense.
He should.
It doesn't, but they're just like, nah. If he's healthy, he can play.
It's-
I think
He's
it's
gonna
a smokescreen.
play
I don't think he's
next
playing
month.
this year. I don't think he's playing this year.
And
I don't.
I really wish they would just be honest and say he's not going to play.
He should.
But they keep dragging it out, saying like, "Oh, there's a chance."
Just sit
There's
there and
a
make your
chance.
money and come back next year and play.
But no, that's
Yeah.
the thing. They don't want to give back these tickets.
Well, that's why I think they're milking it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why they're not just going to come out and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
Zion's not coming." Why'd you buy season tickets?
Yep.
Zion's not playing. They're not going to.
And their defense for next year that if he doesn't play, we got Zion next year.
Yeah.
So just
Bro.
come back for next year. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. And then they get to have their cake and eat it too. That's like fun fact. Dwight Howard's in the dunk contest this year.
He did, and I have no idea why he chose to do that.
He's next.
Clout points. Okay, Lamar Jackson. While we were gone, pretty much on a lot of he's clearly put on a clinic of the season.
Yep.
This dude has had 43 total touchdowns to 7 turnovers.
Yep.
He's had 36 passing touchdowns. Not bad for a running back.
Oh.
He's had over 1,200 yards rushing as a quarterback. That dude is
better than Michael Vick.
I mean, Vick has said it himself though. So he's clearly on a tear right now.
Yeah,
Do you guys think he can keep this up during the playoffs?
Hope so.
I pray so.
I think again, he's done it against plenty of talent.
No.
already. So like, I have no reason to think that he wouldn't be able to do it in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
But
I know that's
I'm
the
with
time
you.
when people fold, but I think he'll stand up.
He's black, so
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, it's the
I'm voting for everybody
It's the
black.
decade of the black quarterback right now.
much. Hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I love the black quarterback.
Yeah.
With it,
It's good.
Yeah, I'm with y'all.
the black running quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, there's not.
I mean,
you
he's-
might as well
he's-
say black.
But he carved up
There's
people
no
from the
difference.
pocket. He led the NFL in touchdowns throwing this year.
Yeah.
He would have. He didn't play the 16th game, and he led the NFL in throwing touchdowns. Like that's
That's crazy.
So
not
we
bad
do.
for a running back.
So we
dog.
do. So we
Salute MVP. We see you, big trust. All right. Okay, another one real quick. Star Wars dropped.
Okay, DJ Khaled.
Star Wars dropped. The
Didn't
Rise
see
of
it.
Skywalker. I was able to see the movie. It is a mess.
He needs to fall.
There's a lot, huh?
He needs to fall.
Okay, all right, man.
I didn't
It's-
see it, so
It is a jumbled mess of a movie.
I heard
There's a
it.
lot going on,
Yep.
pretty much in it.
I heard
It's
it
not
was
the best.
bad.
It opened up to $177 million, far below the other two that clearly have come out this
It's still
day.
$177 million.
It is though,
but
but
it's Star Wars. It should
yeah,
make
it's
a
just-
lot more.
They should
Thank
be
you.
at
That's
easily
very true.
200.
this is, and they've been hyping this up as the finale for
Yeah,
Saga and stuff.
yeah.
This is a movie that should have made $300 million
Yeah.
in its opening weekend,
Yeah.
domestically.
If they had at least made a decent movie, if you have a good first movie, garbage second movie, you pretty much shot it there. No one's coming back.
I mean, I'm willing
I
to
mean-
stay here on this. The Last Jedi is a top 3 Star Wars movie ever.
Is it?
My opinion. It took the most chances. My only problem with that movie is it didn't go far enough.
I haven't seen them all to be able to judge, so I don't.
It's all right though.
It
I'm
seems
just
like
trying to
four.
say as much as I can
I'm
say
not
without
gonna lie.
spoiling
The
anything.
new generation Star Wars, I never really watched like that. It was always the Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
Stuff people hate.
Yeah,
But
The prequels. Yeah, the
Stuff
prequels.
people
Yeah.
hate.
The
those
prequels.
are the best ones.
There are
that
people-
is
there are people
one
who
you're
genuinely
willing
believe
to
that.
die on then because there are a lot. There are people who
there are
defend
people.
it.
Yeah, there are people who believe just like Josh, just because they grew
Yeah,
up
'cause y'all
watching
grew
the
up on
prequels.
them.
Yeah.
Hell
They're just like,
They're
oh,
bad
yeah,
movies.
it's cool, Star
No,
Wars.
the new ones are bad movies. Clearly, 177 million.
Yeah, it made more money than the other ones. What are you talking
I
about?
wouldn't say the new ones are.
Trash.
Okay.
The one I saw was cool. I think it was the first one. In the
Revenge of the Sith is the best one out of all of them, and even that.
Is that the one
is
with?
an eyesore.
Is that the one with?
Partner.
What to do with the face?
Vader?
No. Black and red face.
Oh, that's the Phantom Menace, the first one.
Phantom Menace?
Yeah,
Okay.
Darth Maul. Yeah.
Darth Maul, yes.
Beast.
Revenge of the Sith is the best
That is my
It
favorite
is
one,
out of all
only
three
because of
those.
Darth
Out of
Maul.
all 3 of those, yeah, for sure. It is. And I grew up watching those movies with you. Like that's what I'm saying. First weekend in there watching each one of them. You go back and watch them; they are slog. Like it is slowly paced. The dialogue is really bad. The action is It doesn't age well.
I'm just gonna go watch Back to the Future for the 20th time.
Yep.
All right.
I'll be just fine with that.
Yeah.
Bet.
McFly.
Or the Harry Potter series.
I've still only seen one movie in that entire
Really
series.
unfortunate for yourself.
Yeah, it is the very last one.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, the Australian wildfires.
Tragic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is, man.
yeah, man. I was
Like
hearing about that as well. Like, there's a lot going on right
A lot
there.
of athletes are trying to do their best, give to that. So, I mean,
It got so bad that a model decided she was going to sell her nudes to raise money for the fight.
Whoa.
What model is it?
I was like, wait, I'm kind of confused. I'm like,
It's a real story. She's raised like $100,000.
good for her, I
I'm saying,
guess.
what model is
Like,
it?
it's towards a good. It's towards
Josh,
a
you're
good.
not gonna go buy these pictures.
I'm trying to support the cause.
You're not gonna go
I'm
buy
cool
these
on that,
It's
but
a
I'm
real
saying good
story.
for her.
I'm trying to support the cause.
No, but a lot of animals have died, man. Like
Yeah, I heard
been
a
like,
lot of that. Yeah.
I don't want to say this.
I was just really surprised that this is the hottest it's ever been in Australia, and it is the winter. That was kind of the part that kind of got me though, where I was just like, oh my goodness, like.
What really sucks is that it was people who started fires. Like they've arrested like so many people who have started fires out there.
Arsonist, yeah.
Who the hell just?
It happens,
Crazy
bro.
people.
Like,
So it's like now all these animals are dying. I mean, this world's hey, we live in the end times, man. This is gonna be over. Like, the
Well,
world's
people doing
gonna-
stupid stuff
Stuff
like
that
this.
goes through
yeah.
people's heads
World's
is
gonna end.
beyond me.
But shout out to Australia for real. Shout out to Puerto Rico. They just had an earthquake this morning. It was like
I didn't hear about
6
it.
points.
Yeah.
Prayers go out to
Damn,
them.
They said
Yeah.
that there was a island-wide power outage.
6 points.
There's one of their monuments. It's like a man-made, not man-made, like a natural monument. It's like a stone. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like It's almost like a hole in a mountain, almost.
Mm-hmm.
It crumbled.
Dang.
And that was like one of their biggest like attractions. Yeah. It's almost like if you go to Cabo and you see that arch. It's kind of like that, but it was like a circle in the middle of like this rock figure that crumbled. Yeah. So it's, Puerto Rico's been getting hit hard in the past few years, man.
Jeez. I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna lie, on all the natural disasters, like, I think earthquake is probably the scariest to me. Like, sure, bro, just imagine sitting here and everything just fucking shaking, like Harlem shaking. Good lord.
Hey, California should be. Hey,
I know,
they
bro.
gotta watch out
like,
there, man, because they're long overdue.
Well, when you
Like,
brought
bro,
up arsonists,
everything
arsonists
else
are
you get a
heavy out in Southern
warning
California,
for,
bro.
like-
Like for real.
like everything else you get a warning for, but it's just like earthquake, you literally just.
No, you're stuck where you're at. You
That's
just
what I'm
hope
saying.
You don't fall to the
like,
ground.
Good
Yep.
God, like that is so. Oh my gosh, like that's why California is not on my radar.
Bro, that's why, like, I don't know why, but living in Texas, like, it feels safe. I know it's
Bro.
not.
I
But
get
it
what you mean.
feels
though. I get what
safe.
you mean.
I mean, the only thing, we're in Tornado Alley. That's like the worst thing at least in this area that we're in.
DFW
It's like the
for
worst
sure.
thing that can happen. to
And
us.
I've been living in Texas long enough to where I'm not scared of that.
Not at all.
So,
Get a warning, go downstairs, you're good.
exactly. That's how that goes.
I
Like,
promise
oh,
you.
No, I mean, like
That's
we've
what
all
I
lived
thought.
in it, so I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I was
it.
like,
Get a warning, go downstairs, go. Let's go to a shelter room, you're good. Like it'll pass over.
dang.
What you got? Chich?
All right. Next up, we already talked about that. So, kind of going back to spanning 4 different decades, Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" was the #1 song in America last week on the Hot 100 on Billboard, which made it the first song ever to be the #1 song in 4 separate decades: the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and the 20s.
Yep.
And then also made history right after that by being the first song to fall completely off the charts after being #1 the week before.
Makes total sense.
Well-
Everything that you just said makes sense.
yeah, it does. It does.
Because it comes up once a year.
Yeah, but that song is legendary.
And
I have
then,
my theories
And then
about
after
that, though.
Christmas is over,
Yeah.
I have my personal theories
Like-
about that though.
Like, bro, she like the income. I'm sure the residual she gets from that the song is insane.
she ain't gotta sing
crazy.
again, ever.
Like, bro, like no wonder why she lost her voice. She didn't give a fuck. She's like, I still got that song. Like,
Yeah, I have my personal theories about that though.
Is that the song?
No, about like
Or why
how
it was
that
up there
happened.
and
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Why, retail stores and stuff like
Bots. Bots.
Yeah.
Think bots. That's it. That is.
What did Cole say?
that? That's fair.
Oh,
The machines.
he's playing the streams. That's, I don't
They
know.
sell some machines,
Go listen to
something
a
like
lot by 21 Savage. You'll
Yeah.
get it. Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, pretty much.
He'll
yeah.
explain why. Yeah, why that probably was bots.
Yeah, like another big reason like on that too is have y'all heard about French Montana and what happened with him with Spotify accounts getting hacked apparently that were streaming like I don't know, no stylists and like stuff pretty much off the album that had been out there for a while, which helped drive up his sales to be able to go gold in 2 days. Like pretty much, yeah, it's a whole thing pretty much with that whole thing. There was somebody who was able to hop out there and be able to say it. It's different, but kind of in that similar territory where people kind of take advantage of that whole system and stuff.
crazy,
So,
bro. Like,
but yeah.
that is like, I don't know how the song is still to this day. Like every Christmas,
It's a good song.
I know it is, but it's just
Like Bots Aside, it's also still just a great song.
Goodness
Yeah, it's like
gracious.
it's a great song.
Okay,
It's
so
just a-
okay. One has to go.
Okay.
Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas."
I already know what
Boys
song.
and Men, "Let Us Know,"
That's
Okay.
not going nowhere.
and "This Christmas" by Chris Brown.
Mariah Carey's out
Mariah
of here.
Carey.
Which one has to
I
go?
thought you were gonna say Donny Hathaway because
Nah.
that's my quintessential
I
Christmas
mean,
song.
it is classic,
Yeah.
but I had to
Yeah.
throw it up there.
Mariah
'cause
Carey's
it's
out of here.
Christmas. So Mariah has to go.
Yes.
Because this Christmas goes hard.
Yes.
It does, and then
Yeah,
"Let
this
Us
Christmas
Know."
goes hard.
That's,
I-
not, going,
I
that's
was-
not going anywhere.
But it's
I was-
Chris covering Donnie's version. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like,
Because you like Donnie's version so much, I get you saying Chris Brown goes. I'm not going to judge you for that.
I
You're
don't-
wrong.
I think
I'm not going to judge you for that.
Chris Brown's was,
I feel like
in my opinion,
It was soulful.
It was better.
Oh.
It was better. Come on.
oh,
It was
bro, you
better.
just hurt me.
I
What
know
are
I
you
did.
talking
I-
about?
It
Oh
was
my
better.
gosh.
Bro, it was soulful. You gotta give it.
No, it's great, and I'm not taking off that list though. That's why I had to be like, he does a great job on it though. I'm not saying it's better, but he does a great job on it.
And for real, I would listen to "Let Us Know."
Dang, I don't want to do that tomorrow. It's such a good.
It ain't
All I
gotta be
Want for
Christmas.
Christmas Is You was such a great song, But I think I do have to take it off.
Exactly,
I wanna
like,
get the other
it
Like
has
the
to
longest
go.
standing song, bro. That song is so annoying. Like it is the longest.
But it's
standing
still a great
No, it's a
song.
great.
It's the
song.
most overused Christmas song
But
on the
yes,
planet.
bro. I promise you, like they
For
put
good
on the
reason.
First
commercials,
Noel
everything,
isn't
like,
played that
But
much.
it's for good
Merry
reason.
Christmas ain't played that much, man. Come on.
Here's what we got.
All right, you kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, but Mike McCarthy is now the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
They're still not going to the
rules-
playoffs.
Okay, we're going to the playoffs, even though we haven't trashed.
We're going to the playoffs at least.
Yeah,
Let me not go. Let me not go all the way in on
yes.
McCarthy.
Y'all are
real
gonna
fast.
play off somewhere on an island. Nigga.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm not a big believer in McCarthy. He wasn't a big believer in McCarthy when he was the coach in Green Bay. I felt like he held back Aaron Rodgers on a lot of levels in the offense that they were. Even Aaron Rodgers said that how archaic he runs all that stuff. I'm really concerned for Dak's development as a quarterback, and I've already been very concerned about his development as a quarterback all the way 4 years through. At this point, it's just we'll see how this goes.
I think you'll be a good person to answer this.
That's
But
what we'll.
Yeah, I was gonna
see
say.
how it goes.
So do y'all think because I mean, think about it. The Cowboys have had what 4 coaches in the past however many years?
pretty much the decade.
Yeah.
No, we had
one coach in the past
Yeah,
decade.
No, but
yeah.
I'm saying,
Jason
like,
Garrett was the only coach.
Why I say how many? Because I'm saying they had Wade Phillips.
That
they
was-
had Jason Garrett. We had Bill Parcells.
It was Bill Parcells, but that was basically like the
And
two,
now they have-
like we only had 2 head coaches in the 2000s.
Well, I'm saying the past how
I
many
guess
years? I didn't say
3.
a set
It's like-
years. So I'm saying like the past how many years. But I'm saying, do you think it's the players or do you think it's the coaches?
It's Jerry,
Jerry
Jones.
Jones.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
Neither of them. It's
yeah,
Jerry.
it's Jerry Jones.
Jerry sits in a fucking booth.
Yes,
Yeah,
but he
he's
decides who's on the
Everything,
field.
everything. He is the president.
He's out
the
here-
owner and the general manager.
He's out
of
here
that
playing
team.
checkers while these niggas playing chess. Like, he's putting them on the field, man.
Yeah, bro.
He's not helping us
That's what I'm
win.
saying.
Like,
and I'm not even gonna say it because he hasn't done an awful job as a GM from a personnel standpoint of
This is
getting
Jerry.
players. Because the players are fine. Like that's what he's clearly listening to people around him and make those decisions. It's everything else. It's the cultural.
It's literally
standpoint.
everything
Yeah,
else.
it's the
If I say Robert
cultural
Kraft
stuff.
out here getting
It's the fact that
hosed, like-
it's the fact that so is Jerry. Have you seen him?
Oh, Jerry,
I understand that,
Jerry
but I'm
begins-
saying, okay, what does the owner have? Like, bro, you cannot say.
For everything we just said, he literally controls every part of that whole thing, and that's not a good thing. You need to have people that you can actually give a checks and balances to your system, so that way you can actually be able to keep the whole thing going as well. Like it's a well-oiled machine. If you're one person who continuously makes all those, that's what hurt Jason Garrett a lot throughout his first part of his tenure, was that he wanted to make every decision for that team on offense, on special teams and stuff. And eventually they were like, that's not working. You got to switch it up. We got to get more people in here. That clearly still didn't work anyway because of the culture that was there, and because I could go on and on
He had
about
the
this stuff.
legendary Bill Parcells. and
Yeah.
you're telling me they still
Yeah,
do
he
that,
had.
man.
Yeah, because he butts heads with Bill Parcells and people like him, like a Jimmy Johnson, and won't allow them to basically run their own thing. And what he clearly wants in there are people who are yes men, who are going
Which
to go
is
to
what
every
Jason
win.
Garrett turned into.
Yep. And what I think Mike McCarthy will also be, and what I think to an extent Wade Phillips kind of was too, and he doesn't let people basically go out to max out their potential because he wants it to be about him and his brand.
Speaking of his brand, as long as they're making money, Cowboys
all
going to
he
be
cares
the
about.
number one merch seller
All that
for the
matters.
rest of the world and never win a game.
I think only his
And that's all he
ego
cares
is the
about.
reason why he wants to win a championship again.
Yeah.
But other than that, as long as he's making money and that well-oiled machine is
Who
going, and it's
cares?
the most talked about team pretty much out there. For examples, like announcing that you're letting go of your head coach during
Somebody else's game,
yeah,
yes.
during a rival's playoff game, pretty
Yeah.
much. Like that's a marketing standpoint. These are marketing ploys that he's employing.
Do y'all think?
And that stuff is troublesome.
Do you think it would have been a better coach hire to get Urban Meyer?
If he had let him do his thing, but was he going to let him do his thing? No.
Urban Meyer would actually be really good.
Bro, I would have loved that.
There were a lot of people he could. Matt Rule, who got hired over in Carolina, would have been a great to see what he's done at Temple and Baylor in that short span of time that he was able to do.
Yeah.
He probably would have done the same here. But the thing is that I don't think it would have happened because Jerry still would have been like, nah, it's got to be exactly what I want or gone. You can clearly tell this is a very sensitive subject for me, being a Cowboys fan, growing up, all this stuff. So it's kind of a thing where I'm like, all right, I just pointed out, leave it as it is.
Not sure
We just got to
which
see.
one.
Yeah, like in 2006. Yeah, so like it's still the hometown team. We
Was Quincy Carter?
shout out to Quincy, man. That was like 02, 03.
What did he get?
That was before I even
Did
started
he get
watching
kicked
football.
out of the
man.
NFL for drugs?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. But Quincy, And shout out to Quincy, man. That's all I got. That's all I'm saying.
If you're alive, bro.
Yeah, man.
Shout out
If
to
you
you.
alive, I'm dead.
I don't know where he's at.
He's alive though. Shout out to Quincy Carter, man. That's it. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, if y'all need to know anything, just look up something about Quincy Carter. That's it.
Anyway, y'all didn't know we had a black quarterback before Dak.
Yeah. All right, WandaVision, the Disney Channel, like Disney Plus thing, pretty much, or whatever, the Marvel Studios thing is coming in 2020 now. It was originally slated for sometime in spring 2021. It got moved up, which also tells us that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is also getting moved up as well.
Okay.
Are you guys excited?
Cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
down.
We only get 2 movies this year, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, we got the
So,
Proud
The
family. That's all that matters.
show's trying to take over.
True.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the
the
last
Proud
thing I want to leave out on is I want to say rest in peace to David Stern.
Yes.
Who was
R.I.P.
the former commissioner of the NBA. He passed away from a brain hemorrhage, I think it was,
Yeah, it was.
on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Something he'd been battling for a little bit of time. I know that he'd been somebody who had kind of cooled off a little bit post-retirement and was kind of like in a much happier place and everything, and doing certain initiatives and stuff. Even though he was a really big hothead and butted head with a lot of people, there were a lot of things that he did where I didn't fully agree with from a personnel standpoint in the NBA, and even from an like just a person standpoint. Like when he went at Jim Rome during an interview one time about something that I will not touch back on, pretty much. But if you want to, just look up that whole thing. But it seemed like he was in a much happier place in the latter point of his life, and he definitely did a lot for the NBA. There's a lot of stuff that I know we definitely appreciate in what he's been able to do from an international standpoint, from broadening the game in a lot of different ways and allowing people to kind of like get into that bag of kind of doing stuff
Differently.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly, the stuff that happened during even the Jordan years and his dominance and stuff like that, that helped the NBA be where it is today instead of going bankrupt and us not having it. So I just wanted to say rest in peace to him, but yeah. What's else?
And a lot of NBA players have a lot of positive things to say about him.
Yeah.
A lot of them really consider him, even though, like you said, he got into it with a lot of people, they consider him as just as much a player as they were. They say, hey, he had our back in a lot of situations. So it's good to hear positive things about him. I am a little sad that there are going to be kids who grow up and only see Adam Silver as the commissioner, because he's a weird little alien looking dude.
Oh, but don't do Adam Silver like that. Like,
come on.
Right.
The first time you saw Adam Silver, you were like, who is this?
Yes,
Thank you. That's it.
But then after a while, I was like, okay, he's an alright guy. Like I was like, he's alright. He's alright though. I do think what happened with David Stern will eventually happen with Adam Silver. Personally, I do think there will be that point where
people don't like him.
there will be a heel turn with him at some point, but it is still good. Yeah, but it is still kind of a thing where it's like it's still good to see people in these positions and doing their thing. And so, yeah, rest in peace to David Stern.
David Stern.
Yeah, man. And that's it, y'all. Like that's pretty much it. Like that's all I got on this one. I know we're.
It's been a while, so we had to get it all out, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, so it is a little bit longer than sometimes it is. But, it is what it is. Let's go.
For sure. All right, well, this has been this week's forecast. Happy New Year, everyone.
Appreciate y'all listening.
Happy New Decade. Go
Tune
get
in.
it this decade. Any goals that you have set for yourself, make it something that you're going to accomplish. At least kind of come up with stuff that you know you can keep up with for sure. And
hit us up.
Any ideas, any topics that you want to hear about, anything you want to talk about? Hit us up. Yeah. That's okay. All right. Signing out. Forecast.
Appreciate
you.
I'm in shock. The nerve, the audacity. Okay. So if you rebuke me for working with someone else on a couple of V's, what do you really think of the nigga that's making your beats? I've done things for him I thought that he never would need. Father had to stretch his hands out and get it from me. I pop style for 30 hours, then let him repeat. Now you popping up with the jokes, I'm dead, I'm asleep. I just left from over by y'all putting pen to the sheets. Tired of sitting quiet and helping my enemies eat. Keep getting temperature checks, they know that my head overheats. Don't know why the fuck you niggas listen to Dead I'm a Steve. Musta had your infrared wrong, now your head in a beam. Y'all are the spitting image of whatever jealousy breeds. Don't push me when I'm in album mode. You're not even top 5 as far as your label talent goes. You send shots, well I gotta challenge those.